Tornado is coming. Right there. There it is.
While Tennessee grapples with the horror of a deadly tornado,
what is the risk of my actually getting an infection?
And a disease we cannot see coming.
Watch out.
Tennessee's broken juvenile justice system faces its own slow-motion crisis.
Just like any health scare, any natural disaster, this is the same kind of disaster, and we're doing it to our children in this state.
That was State Representative Bo Mitchell's reaction after we showed him this report from the judges on the front lines. In it, the Tennessee Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges warns of, quote, an alarming trend. Our state now has fewer appropriate treatment beds than what is needed to address the serious and varied problems experienced by our children. This reduction in treatment facilities has reached crisis stage and has a direct impact upon public safety and child welfare.
It's alarming. They know there's a problem. I think they've known there's a problem for quite some time.
When juvenile judges believe young offenders need to be locked away for treatment and rehabilitation, they send them to the Tennessee Department of Children's Services, now headed by Commissioner Jennifer Nichols.
What has gone up is the number of people that we are placing in YDCs that have very violent offenses.
But after DCS experienced unrest at its prison-like youth development centers 5 years ago, it moved to a different model. The number of state-operated centers is down from 3 to 1, with less than 150 high-security beds available statewide. Perhaps more alarmingly, the report warns, there are currently no youth development centers dedicated to the rehabilitation of female youth. Nichols admitted DCS may not have the right mix of beds.
Nothing is more important to me than trying to get this ratio where it needs to be.
Do you think it is where it needs to be?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that it is.
In fact, even after a judge orders them sent to DCS, the report notes that troubled children as young as 14 have been kept in juvenile detention for as much as 4 months awaiting transfer to a treatment facility. In some cases, we discovered they may even be locked up in what amounts to solitary confinement. Right now, 3 DCS facilities in Davidson County currently sit empty after the contractor that operated them pulled out. As a result, the report says children are languishing in detention awaiting a suitable bed. This is intolerable.
And you're creating a bigger problem and probably creating a bigger issue that child is going to cost you even more money in the system because your lack of attention to addressing their needs.
And after offenders complete their initial treatment, the report warns, often these children have nowhere to go due to the lack of congregate care or step-down facilities, resulting in children being inappropriately placed in foster care or returned prematurely to the home. It adds, many of these children have violent tendencies and are not ready to be placed into foster care or returned home. The result is often disturbances in school and or continued delinquent behavior.
Then you're putting the public at risk by putting these violent youth back into our community.
The report also notes that in some cases, juvenile offenders are being shipped out of state for treatment at great expense to Tennessee taxpayers, heading to treatment facilities in Texas, Iowa, Illinois, Michigan, Georgia, and Florida.
Oh, they was even talking about Detroit. They was even talking about Alaska.
DCS eventually sent Cleavante Kirkendall's son Dwayne to Iowa for his treatment.
If I visit my child, it would take me 2 days. That's the whole weekend. It would take me 2 days to get there. By the time I get there, it's time for me to fly right back. I wouldn't have no time with my son.
Even though she had been promised that Dwayne could Skype home every day, she says she didn't hear from him for months.
And then I can hear the distress in my son's voice when he calls home, Mama, we're not getting done right up here. We're being mistreated.
Such out-of-state treatment, the judges say, creates great, usually insurmountable difficulties for families in exercising visitation and participating in the child's rehabilitation, and for the court in holding periodic reviews. Again, this is intolerable.
The only reason that DCS kept in touch with my son is because I told them I will not play these games with y'all. Period. Don't play with me about my son. He's not a lost cause.
It was frightening.
While natural disasters are largely beyond our control, the juvenile justice crisis is an ongoing disaster that advocates say could be avoided.
Everyone always says we're going to try to fix it, we're going to try to correct this. It never seems to happen. Until we make it a major priority, you're going to continue to have issues like this, and that's sad.